Hello and welcome to the channel, guys. Jed Scott of Scott's Beach up here, and today we're gonna do something a little funky, a little different. Of course, we do this from time to time. What we're doing today involves that buffing wheel, some pistons, and that 273 for the yard dart. What we're gonna be doing today, just give you a little rundown, is we're gonna work on these rocker shafts, get these all cleaned up good, ready to rock and roll, get them all assembled. We're going to work on honing out each of our cylinders. We're going to give each of the lifter bores a light hone. We're going to clean some of this flashing and all that jazz. Check out the cam bearings, make sure they're good, and make sure we need to take this to the machine shop with everything else. And in the next video, we're going to be working on our oiling mines, tying these together and all that fancy jazz. Viewer, I don't know if he's a subscriber, mentioned polishing pistons. So what we're going to do is clean up these pistons really well, trying to remove any material, get them dry, and then we're going to try and polish them really nice. And I could show you one piston I have polished in the past, if I can get to it. Give me a second. Piston, which you can see the camera in there. Don't mind the smudges and stuff as my fingerprint. That's a old 440 piston I got laying around. I polished just for shits and giggles one day. I think that's what we're going to shoot for. Maybe not that smooth, but pretty daggone smooth. It says it helps with carbon deposits building up on the piston, so we're definitely going to work on that because some of these pistons got some pretty good carbon built up on them. Well, every one I pick out ain't going to have any carbon on it, apparently. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, this engine was running pretty good. But I do want to address before we move on and start the actual work. And I came out here to address it so you can look at the yard dart, still sitting right where I left it. That the 273 is going to be rocking those factory Dome 10.5 pistons with the correct 1966 920 casting heads, which are closed chamber. It gives you the 10.5 to 1 true compression with a steel shim head gasket. We may run a little different head gasket to get a little better compression ratio, not something so steep. But that's what we're going to rock and roll with. No magnum heads on this engine. We're keeping it period correct. All right, guys, so I did a test and it was successful. Let's just get you right here, and there you are, as good as you can get. There's the camera, and this piston's got a little bit of pitting in it, but I ain't worried about it too much. Pretty thick piston, pretty heavy piston, so it'll be fine. Get her out in the sunlight and you can really see that baby shine. So what I want to do, I got this piston. We're gonna work on this. This is the nastiest one of the lot. See, it is completely black, full of carbon. So we're gonna set you up. We're gonna clean it with the wire wheel real lightly. You don't want to get too heavy, you'll start to remove material. And we're gonna polish this puppy for you on camera in speed footage, and then I'm going to rock out all the rest of these pistons and not bore you. And when they're all done, I'll show you. Alright, so now we got our piston roughed out with the black stone, which I would tell you what it is, but I can't remember. But all it does is remove big scratches, and what you can see here is it got kind of a duller tone to it, and there's a bunch of black on it. So what I like to do is I would take a little piece of 4/0 steel wool. Let me get behind the camera so I can see. and I just go over the piece, and this is going to pick up all the leftover residue without marring the surface at all, not scratching it. And what it's going to do is just pick up all that excess polish. As you can see, the valve reliefs are already cleaner. Get those really clean. Then we're going to come over and rub the entire top of the piston. Don't use too much force, just lifting off all the crap you don't want on there for the next stage. And then once you think you got about how you want it, we're just going to give it a little degrease, a little bit of brake clean. Come up to the piston, just give her a quick little rinse, take a fresh towel, wipe her down real good. Now it's free of all the previous compound. Basically do the same with our polishing wheel or buffing wheel. Move on to the next stone. We're going to go to white diamond and then on to red jeweler's rouge. That's all we're doing. Well, there you go. 2 pistons are done. That one came out a little shinier than that one. Might have to give this one more coat of polish, but dang, that make them look really nice minus these pits. I wish those weren't there, but ain't no big deal. Let's get the rest of these done. We got 6 to go. Are you guys ready for this? 2 to 3 hours of work. Bam. 8 little smiley faces staring at you. Not a perfect mirror, but pretty dang good in my opinion. They look like little smiley faces. They look so happy, these pistons. Of course, they got some pitting in them. But they look like little smiley faces. I'm pretty happy with that. So hopefully this does something. If nothing else, it just makes me feel better that these pistons look a whole lot nicer. So we're going to move on to the next project. So, hey guys, so before we start honing out the cylinders and doing all that fun stuff, we're going to get this block flushed out because it's got some nasty stuff inside these coolant passages. So we're going to set you up and get her flushed out with some water. Hopefully we get her clean. Alright guys, so we got the block all flushed out and it made one nasty mess out there in the driveway. Every time every time. But what we're going to do is we're going to get ready to hone these cylinders, get them nice and smooth, get them right to the texture we want. See how they're kind of shiny? You don't really want them to be that shiny. You want them to have a nice cross hatch. In fact, you can see down the bore where the piston skirt was, or where it stopped writing. So we're going to get these honed. Now, one thing you want to be careful with when you're using your cylinder hone is we use these. You can have a ball hone, but any which way you go, you can actually effectively bore out your cylinder if you get too heavy. So the trick is, you know, 10 seconds a hole maybe. You know, you don't want to get too nuts, and you want to go up and down, create those cross hatch marks. So we're going to get to honing. Release the Kraken. There you go. And we got our hone on. One thing to always do before you start honing, spray down your cylinders with a little lubricant. We're going to use some cutting oil. We're going to start here in the back. Had to swap out the drill. Now we're going to get this hole the way we want it. Alrighty, so we got our cylinders honed. We had some issues. And it looks a lot better. You see how it's scratched up? That's how we kind of want it. Now, realistically, this engine would be bored. It's got a pretty good ring ridge on these sides. You hear this? See how it catches? It's not terrible, but we're doing this engine as a good example of you ain't got money to buy $400 stock replacement pistons. So you have to make do. Now, honest to God, I've done a lot worse engines. That 241 had a pretty bad ring ridge, and it runs damn good. This thing's not as bad, but I think it's gonna work pretty good, especially with our original pistons. We got all polished up. But hope you guys are learning something, because, or at least getting something out of it. Maybe a little bit of entertainment. Maybe you're smashing your heads against your computer saying, "Just pour it, you cheap bastard, go buy some pistons." I wish. Anybody out there want to donate $400 so I go buy pistons, bore this engine over? I didn't think so. So, tell you where we're going. You know, you just got to pretend as if, say this was the original whatever engine out of your granddad's truck, and you can't afford to buy new parts for it because you're a broke ass like I am. Or you just don't want to spend $400 on pistons. You know, you got better things you can buy. And you don't want to replace the engine, so you make do with what you got. Alright guys, for the last little project for this video, I appreciate you watching to this point. And I'm going to detail you what we're about to do and why we're going to do it this way. So what we got is our adjustable rockers with our funky shafts that need to be replaced. They got some rust pitting in them, and I'm not real okay with, you know, that. But we got these shafts for our non-adjustable rockers and our complete head. So what we're going to do, since there's no variation in these early heads, the only head that's actually different for these small blocks, besides Magnum engines, which are completely different, would be the TA 340 head, which we obviously don't have. So what we're going to do is, we got some pictures from online. We're going to take these shafts off, clean them up real good, assemble everything from these adjustable ones on these shafts and put them up here and make sure everything lines up how it's supposed to. Supposed to have 4 of these spacers on each one. I started counting, and I think we got 8 here, and then we've got 7 here. So you only need 8 in total. So I'm wondering if we got extras. That'd make a pretty good little cock ring. I mean, so hopefully we got enough. Maybe we got extras. It's just kind of weird when you have extra parts when you get shipped what's supposed to be a complete set. So hopefully you only need 4, but we'll get everything adjusted just right on this assembled head, which we're not using, but I just want to get it assembled on there. We got our tools laid out we'll need. We got speedy wrench with a 1/2 inch drive, 1/2 inch socket, I believe. I just double check. Yep, 1/2 inch. We got our wire cutters to cut these wires. Snip, snip. Only thing I don't have here is my steel wool, which I'm going to use to clean those up with, and my rubber bitch mitts. We also got our assembly lube because we're going to give the shafts all nice lubing, because these are bushing base, so they ride on the shaft. So I want to get those pre-oiled up before we start, you know, start the engine and shit. So get you set up and let you watch. Watch the video real close, you'll see I messed up my first time putting these kind of rockers together. And if I was just smart, I would have laid out all the hold down bolts and realized use 3 of the small ones, 2 of the big ones. Well, I wasn't smart. But yeah, you see you got a little one, rocker, spacer, rocker, big one, rocker, spacer, rocker, little one, rocker, spacer, rocker, big one, rocker, spacer, rocker, little one. Say that, do that mantra like 8 times to tell me how you do. But my lube is a little cold, so they kind of stick, but once they get warmed up, it's just a little protective barrier, a little film we use this for our engine assembly. Everything moves real smoothly. We ended up going with the original shafts. We cleaned up the rust and it turned out to be fine, because these old shafts are filled with nasty, gunky crap. And there's inside of one bolt. And I really didn't want to take time to clean these. And plus, I think there may be a difference. I don't think so, but we went with the originals just to be safe. They cleaned up just fine. I did measure them off camera. They're not horribly worn. But there you guys go. One rocker assembly done. I'm not going to bore you with speedy footage of the other one. You know what I'm going to do. I want to thank you for watching this part 3 of the 273 for the yard dart build. And you guys, you know, like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun jazz. And I appreciate all the support. You guys are awesome. And I'm hoping to see you in the next video here pretty soon. So once I get my rotating assembly back, be ready for part 4, because we're going to get this puppy put back together pretty fast. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.